Good morning all. Me, myself and I haven't worn these gloves in a long time, but they are my classic cruiser gloves, shark gloves, so I'm going to try them on today again. I don't have a need to use any maps or my phone, so it doesn't matter that these things are pretty pathetic when it comes down to using digital devices. So when I don't need them, I'll try these. Today is a beautiful crisp autumn morning. We are in late April, and I am taking the Vulcan for a little trip just around the usual loops. It's starting to get a bit boring for most, but for me I still enjoy them, so I'll still be doing them. And on a morning like this, MARAETAI will be beautiful. So we're just going to go and have a look at the beach, which is around the corner, and show you a little bit around the place where I live. This is Beachlands, new Beachlands, called SPINNAKER Bay. I haven't been on Vulcan for a week. I do love this. Honestly, it's my favorite bike, I think. I mean, I like all my bikes, but it's got such character. Yes. Our shopping centre. A countdown with just a smattering of everything that you need. With the MARAE behind there, Franklin, one of our favourite eating places. So we're leaving Beachlands. This is the roundabout that goes to Whitford. Yesterday I went that way. Today I'm going this way. I'm going around. This is the clockwise way of the Clevedon Loop. Look at that view. Isn't that just amazing? Eh? Beautiful. A little bit more moisture in the air today, so it's not quite as crisp as it was yesterday. But still lovely and green and blue. And I think it's going to be high tide, which means the beach will look great. This is PURU. It's our sports field onto the beach. Done many walks through there, and up over here on the left is OMANA. OMANA is a reserve, and it's a camping ground, and a lot of people from all over Auckland and beyond come and camp here, stay on the beach, enjoy the beach walks and the restaurants in both Beachlands and MARAETAI. There's a golf course behind us as well. So we're really lucky. We're really lucky that we've got great amenities, and we're just far enough out of Auckland to not feel like we're part of the big smoke. And of course we have a ferry. Yeah. So that's how I get to work. When I go to work, which during COVID days is not very often. So this is the reserve. We're going through the middle of it, primarily on the left hand side between here and the beach. And as we turn the corner now, we're now heading up into MARAETAI. MARAETAI and Beachlands are pretty much touching each other. They're so close, and they're both tiny. So a lot of people just sort of loop them together, but they have different characters. MARAETAI is hilly, has older houses, and probably a little bit more of a relaxed bogan style to it, although that's changing. Where Beachlands used to be like that, but there's a lot of new sections, a lot of new areas. And Simon, my son, used to live up to the right here. He's now moved, but we still come here as often as we can. Alright, so it's just the middle of MARAETAI. We're now coming down the other side, down the hill. The beach is to the left still. It's not really a walking beach, it's cliffs beach cliffs all the way through. Here's the school, MARAETAI Beach School, and at the bottom of this little dip is another roundabout, and then there's the boat ramp to the left, and the boat club, MARAETAI Boat Club, and I think that's its name. I've only been there a few times for dinners and things, but I believe it's quite festive, got quite a good following. Some lovely houses up here. I actually went there once. I think I had a justice of peace was living there and did some signing of something for me. Man, he had the most amazing view I've ever seen in my life. And there's another reserve, Coast Guard, and over here the boat ramp, and here's the beach, MARAETAI Beach. This place gets packed on public holidays like today. I'm surprised there aren't more people. Maybe they've just already had a long weekend, so often events. They just had a triathlon here, I think it was last weekend. You have some bikers having their breakfast. Nice. And yep, it gets used a lot. There's people walking their dogs, and swimmers, and kayakers, and canoers, and jet skis. You name it, it's all happening. And that's actually have coffee there. I might have coffee on the way back there at the Beach Cafe. So now we are leaving MARAETAI, and there's this lovely little windy coastal road with some stunning views that continues for a couple of kilometers, and lots of people come and camp out here as well. We've seen all sorts of things happening underneath these trees, from entire pigs on a spit to you name it. People come and they camp and they hunker down for the whole day. As you can see, we've had a bit of rain, so the road's going to be a little bit wet, a little bit slippery. It may have frightened off people. So what's great about that is we've got the road to ourselves, except for this guy who's going really slowly. There you go, one of my favourite views. Oh, there's a guy standing paddling out there. Alright, I need to get going on this road here. We once saw a guy playing drums here. Real drums. Going mad, hell for leather. Okay, I think it is time to pass this guy. Let me just do that. So on the hill there in the horizon is, I don't know what it's called, it's a marae, so it's a Maori hall. On Maori land, so it's another reserve, and we see a lot of guys out fishing here. What is that? Is it a seagull? Is it something else? Looks like something else. I'm not a bird guy. Winter, this place feels desolate and cold and just wonderful, like you need an old lighthouse. And during summer it's hot and sunny and baking. It's quite an extreme. Anyway, why am I like talking as if I'm doing a tour? I do this every week and I film it almost every week. Why am I talking about it like it's all new? Because I realized I was talking to a friend who doesn't know where doesn't know New Zealand, and I thought I'd just send him one of my biker videos to show him where I live and what's around my house. And as I was looking for all of them, I realized I actually don't have one that explains what's happening. I just drive, you know, or ride. So I thought I'd take the opportunity to do a little bit of touristy sightseeing type of stuff. Anyway, here we come out onto the Marae area. There's quite a big boat. I haven't seen that one out here. It's definitely quite interesting. It's got Maori symbols on the front. It's quite large. It's obviously been here for a while. Beautiful. And there's the Marae, right? So often on the weekends that whole grassy garden is packed. People doing social things as they do. There's a camping ground over there as well. But this beach just goes on forever. In fact, it goes all the way to KAWAKAWA Bay and down the south towards the Coromandel and Thames for like, 100 kilometers of this type of stuff. Alright, we are now leaving the beach and we are now heading towards a place called Clevedon. It's 10 k's away. And this is like another section of my ride. It's different, it's country. And right away I'm into cows. Now, it's also a river. There's a river running up to the, you can't see it there, up against the hill there, and it winds all the way to Clevedon and goes through Clevedon. So basically this road is a river road, and you see it from time to time, but it's got some lovely stalls and farm stalls, and there's a vineyard coming up on the right, and this person's gonna drive me nuts. Let's fix that. So this over here to our left is Duda Regional Park, and you can go down that road and there's a place to park, and then there's this beautiful hill and beaches on the other side where you can go and hike. And we've been a few times. There's not a lot of shelter, so it's quite grassy, only a few trees. I'm a fan of trees, so we typically go elsewhere, but also quite picturesque. And there are the sheep. Soon, 1 month, we'll start to see lambs. Now, given it's autumn or fall-ish, we do see a little bit of orange trees. Not a lot, because the indigenous foliage here is perennial. So it's only the exotics that drop their leaves and go orange, as far as I can tell. I can't remember how many we will see, but I do think we get to see some of them. Wow, look at that place. Yeah, you can see some of the leaves. And this road is quite fun. It has a few little twists, but not too much. Once we get beyond Clevedon and you head towards the hills, there's a lot of twists and a lot of beautiful windy roads through the forests that I tend to try and do every few weeks. Okay, so this is the windy road to Clevedon. Now Clevedon is a farmer's village. It's known for its horses, so there's a lot of horse events, lots of horse farms, eventing arenas. It's flat, and it is in a valley, a flat valley that leads towards Ardmore, which is where I used to fly my planes out of, not very far away. And it's sort of like I wouldn't say it's a very well off, but it's a more well-to-do farming community. As is Howick, not Howick, as is Whitford, which is also on the other side of Beachlands. So we sandwiched between two fairly well-off country farming communities, which is great. So we often see floats on this road and horse floats, so you got to keep your eye open. But there you go, there's the flat river estuary, I suppose. I used to go and fly out over here and practice forced landings, and then out just over the water there's a low fly zone. Presume it's still there, where you're allowed to go down to I think 200 foot or something, and you can practice your low speed maneuvers. Some more cows. And up in those hills, those are the HUNUA ranges. That's where we collect a lot of water for Auckland. So there's a number of dams up there, lots of hiking trails, and I think there's some dirt bike trails. Some beautiful dams you can go and drive up to and have a look at. And if that area doesn't get rain, Auckland's in trouble. There's two parts. There's rain on this side, and then there's North Auckland, northwest. In Titirangi, that area, there's some dams there as well. And they are the most critical water feeders for the whole Auckland region. See more orange autumn leaves coming out. RIVERHAVEN. Oh, this is an arty place. There's an river art. There's custom creations of upholstery. There's some gardens on the left here. I think we've just about passed the vineyard on the right, or we're coming up to it. Very, very nice vineyard. But these are beautiful gardens. Here we go. Here's the autumn leaves coming out. And there's some fantastic garden walks in here. You can just see sort of poking through the leaves there. I'm not sure if it's public or private. Now on the other side of Beachlands, to the north, sorry, this is south, to the east, there's a place called AYRLIES farm, which is just the most beautiful gardens you've ever seen in your life in the country. Also a well-to-do area. I've done a riding tour there, one of my videos, I did the loop. We've done a walking tour there as well. It's just so pretty. If you get the right weather on the right day, I've not seen anything as beautiful as that anywhere, to be honest. I've been to a lot of places for that specific type of beauty. You know, it's not mountains and snow, it's not desert, it's colourful, juicy, gardens, lush country, beautiful meadows and creeks, like Hobbiton on steroids. This is a little bit more scruffy, but once we get into Clevedon, it's quite quaint. I'm really enjoying my Vulcan today. Nice and noisy and vibraty. Just what I felt like cruising. Now we're not going to go and explore Clevedon, we're just going to go through, but in and around Clevedon and Ardmore there's strawberry farms. Occasionally we'll stop and get some strawberries. I remember on one occasion I bought cream, fresh cream and strawberries, and poured the cream into the, well, they got a name, a punnet or something, with the strawberries, and not realizing there were holes in the plastic punnet to allow air to go through, and essentially I poured the cream onto my wife's lap. That was terrible. Don't make that mistake. But juicy big strawberries. There's the river I was telling you about, winding its way. It's now met up with the road. And here we are. We go over this bridge, which is one of the tributaries of this river, and we are now into Clevedon. Now on the right hand side here, man, this is a potential future place for me to retire with Nadine, or maybe my folks eventually. It's a new area. There's some lovely new houses there, very spick and span and tidy in the country, and I think it's going to be a good growth area. But what a lovely backdrop. Look at that forest. We've hiked up there before. It's quite stunning. Okay, alright, so Clevedon's very small. If you blink you'll miss it. So coming up in front of us is the scenic reserve, which is the one I told you about that we went and climbed up. But normally my stop is this coffee shop here. On the right hand side is the hall, the Clevedon Hall, where there's sort of fairs and things every Sunday, I think. There's the Clevedon Wolf Shed, and behind it the corner kitchen and bar. They serve a nice cup of coffee with a nice fireplace, and you can sit down and hunker down. To the left is Hallertau. In fact, I'll take you to Hallertau because I'm going there later today. Nadine and I and Calvin and I think we're going to meet up with Jason and Julie. We're going to Hallertau. Hallertau is a restaurant just here north of Clevedon, and they do good beer. It's a nice venue as well. And yeah, we've had many good afternoons whiling away some hours chatting, and in winter they put up a nice big fire. It's really cozy. Anyway, just thought I'd show you. Here it is, Hallertau. I will be back this afternoon and I will be eating, I'm not sure what yet, something nice. Alright, to the left down that road takes you to KAWAKAWA Bay. I think it's about another 10-15 k's, and that's where the oyster farms are. When I went through my little oyster phase, let me just get out of this guy's way. When I went through my oyster phase, I discovered that we had an oyster farm down the road from us. They were lovely. But KAWAKAWA Bay is pretty much like a MARAETAI sleepy village on the sea village. And if you continue going through there's some lovely twisty roads for motorcycling beyond KAWAKAWA Bay up into the hills. I've done a few trips, lots of video vlogs to KAWAKAWA Bay as well. Alright, so we're back in the centre of Clevedon. There's the hall, there's the wool shed and the coffee shop. Man, I could stop and have coffee now, but probably should get back home. Now, there are two ways home from here. We just passed a road called Twilight Road. It's very twisty, and it takes you up over those hills back to Whitford, and then you can wind your way back to Beachlands. There's another way which is coming up, which is less twisty, and when it's been raining and it's cold, I tend to prefer that road. I think it's less likely to have an issue. Oh, there's an Anzac event. Today is Anzac Day, by the way, so there'll be some sort of Anzac meeting. I should probably not make too much noise. Yep, trying to keep quiet. It's a war memorial. Here we go. I tried to give Nadine an Anzac cookie. Turned out to be a tennis biscuit dressed up as an Anzac cookie. She wasn't buying it, so I ate it. Okay, so this road takes you to PAPAKURA and Alfriston and onto the Southern Highway, and obviously past Ardmore, the airfield. Some lovely country roads again, some good nurseries. Lots of horses here as well. This is the horsey area, but we are not going to go that way. We are going to take a right and head back. So in my loop, we are now kind of doing the southern loop. Okay, we did the eastern side to get to MARAETAI and the Marae, and then we sort of came in on the south to Clevedon, and Clevedon's kind of like the middle of the south, and now we're heading north. Here's me accelerating away and forth because I'm talking and not concentrating. So there's now a different phase of this trip. That's why I like doing this trip so much, is every part of it is completely different from each other. We did the beach and the coast. We've now been doing the country, flat country, and now we're going into hill country. There's a new forest they put up, or nursery or something. Maybe they're just growing trees there, I don't know. So yep, oh, love these tree colours. Alright, up the hill we go. Resting cows. quite greasy on these roads after the rain. Alright, we're cresting the top of one hill. These lovely tall pines. I hope they don't ever cut them down, but New Zealanders have a habit of cutting down big trees. So hopefully these will last for another 10 years while I live here. Okay, so we're on the top of this little hill, and we are now going to go down the other side into a place called BROOKBY. And BROOKBY is, again, it's the tiniest thing we've seen. It really is just a roundabout, a couple of houses around it. There's a new eatery here that I want to try, so I'm going to make a special trip to try it. It's called BROOKBY Batch or Beach House or something, I'm not sure. There with a green roof, I think it's there. We're going quite steep down, you probably can't tell it on the GoPro, but we're coming down the other side. And at BROOKBY is where we used to, oh look, there's a horse eventing arena over there, I don't know if you can see it. Definitely stuff happening. Probably be too low. No, there you go, you can see a little bit. Lots of horsey activity. Oh, BROOKBY Barn. Do you know, I'd actually like to pop in and have a look at it. Maybe I can just have a quick look. BROOKBY Barn parking, okay. Alright, so I would say it's closed, because those gates are closed. Okay, so I will definitely come back, not on a public holiday, with Nadine on a Sunday afternoon, and have coffee there. Alright, this is the roundabout I told you about. There's a school here. There's a little church. Now, down to the left is where the pet lodge is, where we stick our cats when we go on holiday. The last time they went there, they picked up cat flu. Yay! And they had sniffles for weeks. So, have to keep an eye out on that place, but you know, it happens. So this is the road. Do you remember I told you about Twilight Road? That was a twisty road. Well, it comes out here. So it does a different hill. And it comes out over here, and then you join up here. And this is the road now that takes us back to Whitford. Pick up some nice speed on this road. They're building something here on the right. Look at this fence, it's curious, eh? So I'm not sure what it is they're building, but there's definitely something happening, so there'll be something opening at some point. It looks farming something, but anyway, maybe it'll be a new attraction of sorts. Another place to go. And around we go, and we're into the next section of the trip, which is country, but it's hill country. We've just gone over a little hill. This continues the hill. We go down the side of a valley down to Whitford, and there's a lovely vineyard on the left called Turanga Creek, and we've been there on a number of occasions. They seem to have scaled back their stuff down to special events, and occasionally they'll have like music events in the vineyards. But whenever they are open, we try and keep an eye out, because it's absolutely stunning. They've got some Tuscan villas behind the back of it. There's a poor little rabbit got nailed. So this is the valley, and on the horizon there is Whitford. It really is a lovely place. We're so happy here. Now, I mentioned earlier there's a golf course in Beachlands. It's a big 18-hole, although I think they're taking it down to a 9-hole, putting some retirement homes there. And Beachlands South looks like it's a new little village town that's going to be set up. Lots of growth in that area, but This is not, there's another golf course which is coming up on our right, which I haven't spent much time at, but it looks picturesque. Here you go, still more horse stuff. This is Bartley's Stables, the academy. Yeah, so we're about to hit the golf course, and we'll have the golf course on the right hand side, and here's Turanga Creek on the left. This is the vineyard. All of the vineyards have been pruned back. They've obviously done their harvest. There's the golf course, Whitford Park Golf Course, and there's the vineyard. Definitely a good place to come. This is one of the nicer areas, but sandwiched between a golf course and a vineyard. Could you ask for anything more? And now, as we come around the corner, we are approaching Whitford proper, or the centre of Whitford at least. Little golf course. And at this roundabout, this is how we get out of this area. This is, if you take this roundabout and go north, you head up to Flatbush, Botany, East Tamaki, basically the southeast of Auckland. But it's up and over that hill, a couple of k's. So you really do feel like you've left Auckland once you get to this roundabout. There's a new area going up over here. We also love the style of these houses. Very similar to the Queenstown house we had plans to build. It's called Woodford Manor. Great place for grandparents to live. And this is where Rusty died. Poor Rusty, he died right here, there. Rusty blew an engine. I think the radiator blew up. There was holes all over it, leaking everywhere, and that was the end of Rusty, my trusty old Toyota Starlet that I had briefly just to get me to and from the ferry. I didn't want my 911 at the time sitting outside all day at the marina, so I bought Rusty, and Rusty lasted a year, cost me $900 and then died. But we still miss Rusty. So we had another roundabout. That roundabout, if you go up there, that takes you to Botany. Here's the stables. I might just do a loop here because there's quite a lot to see. The community hall north takes you to Botany, to where Jason and Julie and where Nadine's parents used to live. There's a lot of little places here, vet, cafes. The stables is quite well known, although we haven't had too much luck there. We've had some bad service. Here's another coffee shop called the Bakehouse, where I often get coffee on my bike rides, and my trusty BP. Anyway, that's Whitford. We are now heading back to Beachlands, so we've got another 8 k's or so, I think. Here's another little river running underneath us, and a little park over here as well. This is a very pretty road too. It can get scruffy, and in that little parking lot they sell strawberries and ice creams and all sorts on hot days, and fruit and veg. But this is the crash road. This is the country road where almost every morning we hear sirens because, oh, look at this. We just missed some beautiful trees. Anyway, this road is windy, it's slippery, and there are kids coming home at 3 o'clock in the morning that have probably had a bit too much to drink, and they take the corner and they slip and they end up in the ditch. So there's been a few fatalities as well. But mostly not serious stuff. Still, when Simon was riding every night doing his security work, we used to worry a lot, especially when we'd hear sirens around about the time we knew he was riding. Okay, we're coming up at the top of a little hill again, and our lots of, again, horsey areas. There's one particularly famous horse here that's a bit neglected, that gets attention on our local grapevine, and up in front of us is the dump, or the refuse centre. I've been there many times and I still have to take a fridge there, but they aren't open all the time. You've got to catch your times quite carefully. Okay, and now we are going down into a valley on our way back to Beachlands, and in this area here is Woodford Fancy. Okay, I don't know if you'll see, this is where that AYRLIES loop is. These have got mansions, right? These are enormous houses over this hill on the other side, down towards the sea. Large manors, like, you know, acres, beautiful houses, makes for fantastic walking. And of course Unfortunately for them, on the other side over here is our septic tank or a sewage plant. Sometimes there's a bit of a smell that creeps out of that place. But this is the turning coming up over here at the chevrons is the entrance to the AYRLIES Loop, which I will do another day because it is just absolutely picturesque. Alright, now coming up on the right in this little hill and this grove of trees is a Japanese garden place. It's a private Japanese retreat. I think it's $1,000 a day to start or something along those lines. I've been up there once to go and sniff around, but you couldn't get very far before it was clearly closed. It's over here. Let's see if the sign is up. Oh, they've taken the sign down. I wonder if they're still operating or if they're now really going stealth. I think probably stealth. Their website is most interesting. Okay, on the left you will see we have the flatlands. It's boglands that goes out to the sea. It's often flooded. And there's Rangitoto in the sea behind it. Okay, and now we're on the final stretch, the last couple of kilometers, where you seem to catch cars up this hill, cars that just can't maintain pace. That's alright, keep me at a respectable speed. There's a couple of new houses going up over here. They've just sold a bunch of sections so they can give them that view. Look at that view. But they have been selling them for ages. So this is just country again, and within a K or so we'll come up to the turn off to the marina, Pine Harbour Marina, which is where I catch my ferry. And of course the golf course that I mentioned earlier, which is now part of the Hyatt, if I'm right. We'll see, forget the name. It's called Formosa, bit of an odd name, but and it used to be owned by, I think, a Chinese conglomerate or something, investors. And they got into a little bit of trouble with some water runoff into the river. At any rate, we knew that they were always planning on selling. We used to have our gym there. They have a lovely gym and a big pool. Unfortunately, they've sort of shut those down and they haven't reopened them yet. I think COVID took them out. But the hotel is there and it's got a lovely resort. Nadine and I have spent every now and again, every couple of years, we'll spend a night away in one of the resorts there, just to get away from home. And we've had some fun there. They've got it's much better than it used to be. It's got lots of nice facilities now. You know, golf carts going around. It's been given a bit more attention. And on the right hand side over these hills is a forest where there's lots of trails that you can go riding your bikes. There's the golfers. They're out. This is the top end of the golf course. And you can see the orange building down there. That's the clubhouse. Actually no, that's the gym. The clubhouse is beyond it. Oh, sorry, not the Hyatt, RYDGES. There we go. The RYDGES Formosa. And Pine Harbour. This is a whole new subdivision to the left. They put 900 houses in here in the last couple of years. We're lucky we're closer to the water, so our prices have been pushed up by theirs. And now we have Beachlands. So we've done the loop. It's a half an hour loop. And you've had a half an hour of my life that I do almost every weekend, this way or that way, or part of it as part of another trip. And given that I've never done the walking tour, it's actually for me. Wave to some people. It's, I guess, when I'm in 10 years time, when we no longer live here, or I'm sitting in my rocking chair, I would have forgotten all of this, you know. You only remember things when you see them. So I'm glad I've done this, because now I'll put it on record and I will always remember all the little bits and things along the way that used to keep me enchanted. This is where Liam currently works, and he's current girlfriend also. Okay, so Beachlands is ahead of us, and Spinnaker Bay is a new subdivision, which is where we live. It's got some nice big houses here, I can tell you that. There you go, and this is what I like the most about living here. It's neat and tidy and clean and crisp. And then as I come down to my house, I just see the beach. We're not far from the beach, I think a couple hundred meters, but it's such a lovely way to come home and to see the ocean. I grew up in Johannesburg, no ocean, or one also in Westville in Durban, far away from the sea. It was a car trip, so I've always wanted to live next to the sea or next to a snow mountain. I've done the first one. I'm still committed to doing the second one. And we are home. Home sweet home. Thanks for coming with. I hope you enjoyed the ride.